Hello Year 7, this is Mr. Han. Today we're going to answer different types of questions based on our previous topics, which are what is a species, variation in a species, and classifying plants. So our lesson objectives today are: number 1, to revise the main 4 groups of the plant kingdom; number 2, to answer different types of questions, and the keywords are kingdoms, spores, fronds, needles, species, and variation. Let's begin our lesson today by revising some information from the previous topic. In the previous topic, we talked about the plant kingdom, and we said the plant kingdom has 4 main groups, which are mosses, ferns, conifers, and flowering plants. The first one, mosses, which have thin leaves, and a spore capsule, which is a structure that produces spores for reproduction. And the second group, ferns, which have leaves called fronds, and at the back of the fronds there are spores. The third group, conifers, which have narrow leaves called the needles, and some cones which contain the seeds. The last group, flowering plants, which have flowers, fruits, leaves, and stem. Today we are going to answer different types of questions. So I will start with the course book questions, page 67. Exercise 4.3. A scientist studies birds in New Zealand. The photographs show 2 kinds of parakeets. They live there. As you can see here, we have yellow-crowned parakeet and also red-crowned parakeet. And also they have 2 different Latin names. Question A. Explain why scientists give Latin names to birds and other organisms. Yes, to give each organism a unique name that doesn't share with any other organism. Or also you can write to give each organism a name which is the same all over the world. And I told you in the species lesson, I told you that the scientists like to give each species a 2-word Latin name to be easy for them to study the organisms. Right? Okay. The scientists wanted to find out if these 2 kinds of parakeet belong to different species. She searched in suitable habitats for nesting pairs of parakeets. She never found a yellow-crowned parakeet that had paired up with a red-crowned parakeet. Question B. Explain the meaning of these terms. Number 1, species. What do we mean by species? Yes, it's a group of organisms that share the same characteristics and that can breed together. Number 2, habitat. What do you mean by habitat? Yes, it's a place where organisms live. Question C. The scientists concluded that the yellow-crowned parakeet and the red-crowned parakeet did belong to different species. What evidence did she have for making this conclusion? Think and read the paragraph carefully. You will get the answer. Yes, because she didn't find the red-crowned and the yellow-crowned parakeets breeding together. Question D. Suggest what the scientist should do to be even more certain that her conclusion is correct. Here we have some choices: looking at stuffed specimens of parakeets in a museum, or checking more pairs of parakeets in the wild, or looking at other species of parakeets. Which one is logic? Yes, the second choice is correct. Checking more pairs of parakeets in the wild. Because the first one here, looking at stuffed specimens of parakeets in a museum, actually it's not enough. And for the last choice, looking at other species of parakeets, actually she doesn't want to study other species of parakeets. She just wants to study these species, the yellow parakeets and the red parakeets, right? So this one is also wrong, only the second choice is correct. Exercise 4.4, page 67 in the course book. The photographs show parts of 3 plants. Plant A, B, and C. Copy and complete the table. As you can see here in the table, he wants you to put each plant in the major group which belong it to, and also to write the reason for your choice. Okay, for plant A, we can see some spores at the back of the front leaves, right? So the major group for it is fern. And for plant B, we can see narrow needles, right? And also we can see cones. So the major group for this is conifers. And for plant C, we can see some flowers. So it is flowering plant. Question 1. Which of the following items contains spores? Ferns, flowering plants, conifers, strawberry plants. Yes, only ferns which have spores. So the correct answer is A. Question 2. Which kind of plants produce flowers and fruits? Mosses, conifers, flowering plants, or ferns? It's written in the question flowers and fruits, right? So our answer should be 3. Flowering plants. Write true or false. Number 1. All plants grow from seeds. What do you think? Is it true, this one, or false? Yes, it's false, because not all the plants can grow from seeds. We have ferns and mosses, they are not growing from seeds, right? They have spores for reproduction. Okay, question 2. There are only 4 major groups of plants. Is it true or false? Yes, true. We have only 4 major groups: mosses, ferns, conifers, and flowering plants, right? So it's true. Answer in one word. Plants that are evergreen with needle-like leaves and produce seeds in a cone. Yes, conifers. Question 2. Very small plants that can dry out easily and grow in damp and shady places. Yes, exactly. Mosses. Because I said very small plants. They have thin leaves that can dry out easily, so mosses. Okay. The pictures show some geranium plants. They all belong to the same species but show variation. Question A. The geranium plants have different colored flowers. Describe 2 other ways in which these geranium plants show variation. Look at the picture carefully and you will get the answer. Actually, in this question, you can write different answers. Some of you will talk about the size of the plant, and some of you will talk about the heights. Also, you can talk about the number of leaves, the amount of fruits, the length of the roots, or the size of the flowers. All of them are different, right? So here we can have different answers. Complete the following sentences. To be part of a species, an organism needs to be able to, with other members of species, to produce. Okay, think. Yes, to be able to breed with other members of species to produce offspring, or you can write to produce fertile offspring. A lion and a tiger are not part of the same because they cannot breed with each other. Yes, the same species. Okay, look at the picture. If you saw these two tigers in the wild, one difference would be they have different patterns of stripes. One is bigger than the other, one has a tail and the other doesn't, or they have different numbers of legs. Which one? Yes, choice A is correct. They have different patterns of stripes. Why, miss? Because here, for choice B, one is bigger than the other. I can see both of them have the same size, right? And for choice C, one has a tail and the other doesn't. Actually, all the tigers have tail, right? So it's wrong. Choice D, they have different numbers of legs. All the tigers have 4 legs, so it's wrong also. Our correct choice should be A, they have different patterns of stripes. Okay, look at these 4 fingerprints. The 2 fingerprints that are the most similar are 1 and 4, 2 and 4, or 3 and 4, or 1 and 3. Look at their shape. Yes, it's only 3 and 4 most similar, because here if we look at them we will find them their shape like circles, which is increasing, right? So here we have 3 and 4 are similar. Okay, grouping together organisms with similar features is called organizing, tissue culture, dividing, or classification. Yes, classifications. Easy question, right? Okay. Now it's time for activity. In this activity, you need to guess the group of the plant. I'm going to give you features, and according to these features, you are going to decide in which group this plant belongs to. Okay? So for the first one here, its leaves are called needles. It grows into large trees. Which one? Which group is this? Yes, conifers. Because I said here needles, right? And the needles are narrow leaves, which is specialized the conifers group. Okay. For the second one, they are very small plants. They produce spores for reproduction. Which one? Yes, mosses. Why mosses, miss? Why didn't we say ferns, for example? And because ferns also produce spores for reproduction. Actually, I said very small plants, right? So only mosses. Third one, it reproduces using seeds that are produced inside flowers. Which group is this? Yes, flowering plants, because here I said using seeds that are produced inside flowers. So seeds inside flowers, so flowering plants. Okay. The fourth one and the last one, it has leaves called the fronds. There are spores to grow on the back of their fronds. Yes, ferns. Because here I said there are spores grow on the back of their fronds, so this is specialized the ferns group. Okay, now we reach to the end of our lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed our lesson today. Thanks, see you next time.